Hello, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be stealing the format from a creator that I enjoy the content of, Karsten Rehnquist, and I'm going to be listing off all the movies I saw in January. Now, I'm not as great of a movie watcher as Karsten is. He has like 10, 15, 15 stretching it. Usually has like 10 movies that he's seen in the month. I only have 3, but we can just get into it. The first movie I watched in January was Event Horizon. It came out in 1997, directed by Paul W.S. Anderson. This is actually the first movie of his that I've seen. Heard of a good amount of the other ones, including, I guess, Monster Hunter was the most recent one. But I like this movie overall. It had a lot of really cheesy, I don't know. I wouldn't call it like super cheesy, but it definitely had some, okay, I would call it cheesy. It was a pretty cheesy science fiction, like horror movie, but I think it executed on those concepts very, very well. The way the story kind of plays out is very compelling. It has a lot of like really cool, horrifying moments. I really liked the creative deaths that happened in the movie. The cast was great. It was actually really fun to see Sean Pertwee, son of the third Doctor, in a role other than Alfred, because that's where I'd first seen him in Gotham. And he was great in that, and he was great in this. Minor spoilers, I guess, for this next bit I'm going to talk about. Skip here if you don't want spoilers for the movie. Sam Neill's turn into villainy, I think, was pretty great. It wasn't expected from my experience, just because I think I only know him from Jurassic Park, but it was a really fun turn as, like, you know, he was kind of getting manipulated. It's actually funny because this reminded me a lot of a movie that came out 10 years after, Sunshine in 2007. Honestly, to me, the superior film, but it's really interesting how this is sort of like the opposite of it, where in Sunshine they're going to a place of light, the sun, while in this movie they're going to a place of darkness. There's a ship that was there previously that they kind of have to board, and there's kind of some weird stuff going on, and you know, the whole getting possessed thing, but I guess that's sort of just sci-fi horror tropes. I like the existential nature of the villain's plan. Honestly, I don't really remember exactly. I'm terrible with like remembering stuff from movies that I've watched, especially if they don't hook me to a certain degree. And like this one definitely hooked me, but I wasn't in love with it, you know. But it was still good. It was still good, I'll say that. Next up is Leave the World Behind, released last year, 2023, directed by Sam Esmail. Same as Paul W.S. Anderson, this is the first project of his that I've seen. I've heard of Mr. Robot. It seems like a pretty compelling show. I think I would enjoy it, but I haven't checked it out at this point. This movie was really interesting. I mean, obviously, it was a viral hit. I'm very late to the party talking about it, but it has a good sense of tension and keeping the audience on their feet, like, constantly throughout the whole thing. You're always wondering, like, what's really going on. And I mean, obviously we find out at the very end. The way it sort of builds on the tension, I think is pretty good. A lot of really cool camera movements. I think that's like the big thing with this movie, like cinematically at the very least. It has a lot of like sweeping shots of going from different places in the house, and a lot of expressionist lighting too. Especially there's this one scene where they're looking at the TV, and the way that the light is hitting the white couple versus the father and daughter. It's just really cool. I remember that shot specifically standing out. I like the way that the story sort of touches on concerns of contemporary life, war breaking out, and the idea that the rich and powerful always have the upper hand, even if they're not pulling the strings. They're always, it kind of just touches on that like uneasiness, I guess. It also feels like it has a lot to say about how reliant we are on technology, and that's demonstrated through the cell towers going down and all the effects of that. It's really emphasized by how the little sister daughter is like obsessed with watching that last episode of Friends. I also liked like the freaky stuff that happens in the movie, like plane coming down and the teeth falling out. With the brother especially, that shit was like, oh, because I mean, that's such a common like fear or dream. The feeling of teeth falling out. It's just like an innate, not necessarily fear, but like apprehension that people have for some reason. I don't know why you might not like your teeth to fall out, but overall it was a decent movie. I've seen on Letterboxd, not a lot of people like it, I guess because they feel it's shallow, and I mean that's fair, but it puts a lot of interesting ideas forward, and I think that's cool. Last but definitely not least, my favorite film of the 3 we're talking about today, and that is Godzilla Minus One, releasing in December of last year, 2023, directed by Takashi Yamazaki. It is once again the first film of his that I've seen, but that has more to do with me just not watching a lot of Japanese cinema. It is technically the 4th Godzilla movie I've seen, King of Monsters and Godzilla vs. Kong. I've also seen Shin Godzilla, which I very much enjoyed, but I think this one is just an inch above. The subject matter is a little different, and this one is just more compelling, more because it's, you know, taking itself back to the roots of Godzilla. setting it post-World War II and bringing Godzilla back as a metaphor for nuclear devastation a little more. Shin Godzilla was a little more like environmental disasters. But I've also seen people say that this version of Godzilla is more of a metaphor for survivor's guilt. I'm not going to pretend I know how to pronounce this actor's name, but he was very, very good in the movie. I felt everything that he was putting on screen. The human side characters also have a decent amount of depth. Each one has a specific role in defeating Godzilla in the very end. Maybe the commanding officer guy didn't really have as much to do in the end, but you know, he was still a very great motivator. Speaking of which, that actor, whose name is now on screen as well, he looks so much like Mads Mikkelsen. Like watching the movie, I could, like every time he was on screen, I'm like, this guy's just the Japanese version of Mads Mikkelsen. Like it's uncanny. This is probably the best physical design of Godzilla that I've seen. Definitely like him more than the 2014 / current American version. Baby Godzilla as well. At the start of the movie, I thought it was a really cool design, very dinosaur-like, as he is supposed to be. Obviously, he's very brutal throughout the whole movie, but like I think because it's at a human scale, like seeing it just like chomp on people and stuff like that is just really cool. Once Godzilla is big and you know he's attacking the city and everything, I really like the homage shots of like the people sort of running away as you see just like the footsteps sort of behind them, which is reminiscent of an era of Godzilla that I haven't personally watched, but I know exists. I've kept it generally pretty spoiler free, but this last part is a good spoiler for the end of the movie. Skip here to skip that. The love interest surviving at the end really surprised me. It probably shouldn't have, but I was actually surprised that, you know, she didn't die just because of how brutal her seemingly death was. Just the breadth of destruction taking her out was just crazy. Like I genuinely believed her death. Very good movie. Very good movie. I very much enjoyed it. Action was superb. Drama was superb. I just loved it. There was like multiple moments in the theaters where I was just like, yeah. Not actually. I wasn't an asshole screaming, but like I definitely like put both my hands up like like an idiot. But it was great. And that is it for the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed hearing my thoughts on Horizon Zero Dawn. No, Event Horizon, Leave the World Behind, and Godzilla Minus One. I'm definitely striving to do more for this month. Today it is the 9th. And so far, I've seen 3 movies. You know, I'll try to kick it up a notch. If you have any suggestions for a movie, please leave it down below. Before I end the video, I do want to do a little blurb. Most people are gone by this point, but I just wanted to talk about the state of this channel. In January, I did upload like 3 videos in a row each week, play into the algorithm because I know weekly uploads are the best for it. And then I kind of fell off. And that's kind of just how things are, life and shit like that. But I do want to strive to make more videos, to make more films. I want to make this channel grow. We also hit 200 subscribers on the channel, which is pretty awesome. Past my last channel from when I was in like elementary, middle school, which I mean that one reached 100, which is pretty cool. But yeah, like I wanted to make a video about 200 subscribers, but it just didn't feel very genuine. I felt like I didn't really have much to say about it, so I kind of just didn't continue. But I'm saying it here. Thank you. If you're any of the new people that subscribe, mostly from the bottoms video, I really appreciate you subscribing, and I hope you stick around. Yeah. Also, I got a haircut, in case you didn't notice. Okay, see ya.